Hello, hello, hello. This is Adrienne, Capricorntigress of astrologyalookinside.com. And we've got our Astrology Lovers podcast. I hope you guys can hear me because I can't hear myself well. So I hope you guys can hear me. But we've got two wonderful women. I'm going to cut the music down. That's going to help me to hear myself a lot better. We have two great women with us. We've got Morgan from Sacred Soul Fertility, and we've got and we're going to talk to both of them about what they do, their businesses, who they are, and just about their spiritual business. Now, I have some information right here. I just saw it. I think from Morgan, I do, and I had asked her some things beforehand, and I asked what was she most proud about accomplishing in her spiritual based business. And she said she was most proud of becoming a certified Akashic Records practitioner, and that it's the most incredible life tool to help others. And so that's what she's most proud of. And also, she mentioned that she lives in Portugal. Her boys were born there in Portugal. She is a practitioner of traditional Chinese medicine, integrative nutrition, and the Akash, a total mishmash, but she's found a way to integrate them, and that's great. I love it. And she also loves the idea of folding time. Oh, we're going to talk about that, Morgan. Folding time, which is assessing the Akash, and it gives us the information like certain patterns and that may have otherwise taken years to figure out. So it's when we're beginning to heal it sooner and open up to many new possibilities to shift our current reality. That's amazing. I can't wait to talk to you a little bit more about that. And she does have a discount for an Akashic reading, and also her discounted spiritual fertility coaching for the month of August. And we'll talk to you about that too, Morgan. And I'm just checking to see if I have any information on her. I've seen her name come up several times, and so I have a feeling I do. And this is what I've got on her here. Her bio, she's Atla is a clinical herbalist, a medical astrologist, and a green witch. You're the second green witch I've had here in several weeks. I love it. She's been practicing for 10 years as an herbalist and medical astrologist and specializes in women's health. She has helped countless women restore balance and vitality to their bodies and rebalance their hormones, leading to pregnancy, normal periods, reduction in cramps and PMS symptoms, and more. She lives in the mountains of northern Mexico with her family on her farm, and she is the owner of Twin Raven Naturals, her apothecary, where she formulates and makes all the herbal medicines that she dispenses. This is incredible. I love that. I love it. She says she's most proud of helping others learn about themselves on a deeper level using astrology and using what helps them to restore vitality to their bodies. And she spent 3 years living on the road in her RV, running her apothecary from the road with her family. She homeschools her kids. She runs a business and a household from the road. Oh my gosh. Which at 19, she was diagnosed with endometriosis. And after years of minimal, no help from the healthcare system and just suffering, she decided to take matters into her own hands, and she healed her own body naturally. So now she helps others to do the same, because she doesn't want anyone to suffer the way she did. And so her, which is amazing. I just think we're going to start what you were, because first of all, I always go by alphabetical order. And so your name begins with an E, so we're going to talk with you first. So I think it's amazing, first of all, that you do all of this from the road and that you're living in northern Mexico. Tell me how that got started, that you decided to get in the RV and do this with your family.
Hi, yes. Thanks, Adrienne. Well, in 2019, my spouse and I got really tired of living the rat race and never seeing each other or our kids because we were constantly like passing ships with our work schedules. And on the weekends, we were so busy, we still never saw each other because we were trying to catch up. So in February of 2019, we made a radical decision to sell our house and 95% of our belongings, use the income from the house sale to buy an RV. We moved into it and we hit the road and we traveled for 3 years all through the pandemic. And we found some land out in northern New Mexico that we just absolutely fell in love with. The spiritual vibe out here is just amazing, and the earth adopted us, so we stayed. So we bought a patch of the earth and we live here now, and it's just amazing. We still travel a lot, but we downsized to a camper van and we travel in that instead.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So you had mentioned about the herb that you're herbalists and
Mhm.
that you have this apothecary. Um, is the medicine that you create for the PMS symptoms, the endometriosis, is that one of your highest sellers, or what type of apothecary items do you usually sell out the most?
The main thing that my apothecary sells currently is like consultations, and then included in that consultation and or the program that you join, then you get the custom herbal preparations that come with that. They
Oh,
are based on your constitution, your natal chart, what exactly your body needs, and then I formulate those and I craft them myself and I make all that and then I ship it to you. So I do a lot of teas and tinctures mainly because I find most clients find those more palatable and easy to take. So those what I mainly do, but there's other things I make as well, like salves and balms and creams, especially for painful symptoms like cramps. I do a lot of balms and creams for that.
that's amazing. Or can you make sure I have your link to your shop so people can find you? I want to make sure I stick it up on YouTube as well. And Morgan, we're going to talk with you now.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about what you do and how you got started with the Sacred Soul Fertility.
Yeah, absolutely. First off, that's amazing. In my former career in the US, I'm a traditional Chinese specialist, and it's my dream to have an apothecary. And I just hit so much red tape here in Europe. You just can't get the herbs.
Yeah.
So it was not all, I mean, it was all necessary, right? Like I had to get onto this path because I've always been so intuitive. And so I really started getting into how to access others' Akashic records, which is such a profound tool, because you can really ask what is going on underneath the endometriosis, the PCOS, or in my case, I work a lot with fertility. So what patterns, what outdated stories are we holding in our energy field that are keeping us in chaos and keeping us from getting pregnant or calling in our dream baby? So that's when I'm talking about folding time, is having an idea of what is really going on underneath.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. I talked about this in one of my recent podcasts, but I recently lost two grandchildren in 1 year.
Sorry.
And so it's been really devastating. And especially for my daughter. So um, she's been studying Buddhism because, of course, when something like this, I think you start reaching for answers like, what, right? And my first grandchild, M, was actual stillborn. And I mean, it was just, I can't even begin to tell you because it was almost her time. So it was really painful. And we had a funeral, it was the whole thing. My thing is when something like that happens, not that they're not getting pregnant, but that the babies aren't surviving. Is there anything that points to that or indicates why that happens?
Yeah, so what you really want to do is get in and look at your ancestral lineage. And I'm talking more than just your grandmother, your grandfather, that type of family tree. We want to look at your soul's lineage. And that can come from any way that our soul has existed. Something in that background, there has been a trauma, there has been a wound, there has been something that has happened that has come forward and affected the lines. So in order to heal it to the point where it's not going to occur again, you need to get back in there and take a look. And that's where I feel like the Akashic are so beautiful. And right now, the ancestors are absolutely here. They're showing up to support us. And they want our help to kind of help modernize. By that, I mean, they're trying to help us, but they might not have the current tools to do so. And so going back in the Akash, we can look at what happened that manifested for this sweet soul to come in to this physical realm unborn. What caused these grandchildren to leave so soon? What was part of their mission in doing so? And heal that so the next generations coming forward aren't carrying that burden. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. I'm really hoping we get a next generation. It's really a personal thing
Sure.
about what's going on. I don't
And
like
what
to talk
brings
about
from me and what I'm really hearing is that there is some significant healing, and it's coming forward through your daughter. It's for her to carry to heal this. And so finding her access to somebody that can pause this moment in time, go back and heal that, because that's somehow some burden she chose to come in with. And so by her being able to heal that and carry it forward is going to make a great difference in creating generations forwards, but she's here to do it. She has the strength to do it.
I think I know what's this. I mean, I could be wrong, but I haven't talked about this in years. My daughter was touched when she was 8 by my first husband. I left him immediately. And but I think it's set up some psychological thing.
And so that gives you a point of reference. Without being able to open her records, I can't tell. But what I'm hearing is you need to go back and look at the mother wound and then look at the father wound. And that might not have been from that husband. He might have brought that wound forward. So where did it come? And triangulate for her, where can we heal that so it's not manifesting itself in this, reliving this trauma over and over. So when she would be able to look in her record, seeing what layers of this trauma are ready to be peeled back and healed. And interestingly, and maybe Ern knows about this, there are a lot of herbs that can help kind of heal trauma through a physiological sense. She might have some symptoms manifesting, whether it be through cycles, whether it be she's not recovering from these stillbirths and these things. So looking at it from these integrative points of view is really, really healing. And thank you for sharing that. Such a powerful story, because I know your daughter's not alone in these traumas and these secrets, and we carry these burdens.
The thing, I mean, I've been thinking this and I haven't even brought it up to her. I don't know if she'll see this, because it's one of those pains that you stuff away. Mm-hmm. You know, she's in her 30s now, and I'm like, we survived it. We know he's dead, you know, that type of thing. And it wasn't even her actual father. That's another pain, because her father wasn't available. But I thought, what if this is somehow all connected to that? Because for years she had really painful periods and issues with that. And
yeah, absolutely. Those traumas come through in a physical sense. They affect our mental body, our spiritual body, our emotional body. There's several ways they can show up. Going back in that sort of Akashic sense, in that ancestral lineage, and find where they came from to heal those moments will really start shifting the physical reality and support her in a different way.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Morgan. And I'm sorry to get private on you, but it would touch so closely with what's going on in our lives right now. And it's really affected the whole year of 2022.
And now's the time. I'm sure you know from astrological standpoint, there is a lot of energy kind of kicking up this old muck. And we're kind of being faced with a choice. Do I deal with the muck, or do I keep going like I don't see it? And really, it's our time to start processing this and peeling this back and sharing your story, your daughter's story. I know that it's going to resonate with so many people because it's something a lot of us have inside and we just don't speak about it. We don't feel safe to. So thank you.
The thought of thinking this stuff is building up inside of us and we don't even know, we're not even aware of it. You know, it's just subconsciously, but it's there and it's affecting even delivering or having a child.
Yeah, and I see this a lot with infertility, and it really manifests with a false belief, whether it's a male or a female, that they're broken in some way, like their body can't do what it's supposed to do.
Oh.
And that is a huge burden in itself to be able to lift off, to say, hey, this is just trauma remanifesting itself. Let's go back and heal that so you can shift out of that false belief.
Oh, Morgan, I can't believe you just said that, because the second baby, I think she was like 4 months, and they said it was killing her, and they took the baby. So that was even more devastating, because you want to believe you can still do it, and then they took the baby because she was having a difficulty. But it makes it even more painful. Like, am I, what's going on? And so, oh my God, I'm sorry. I get so emotional over that one thing. It's my baby, and she's my only one. And we've been through so much with the feminine issues, like ever since she was touched.
Yeah. And so going back and healing that feminine issues will moving forward, will just really change generations moving forward. It'll change generations behind you. It's a powerful, powerful shift that can happen.
Thank you. And I would like to have her maybe reach out to both of you after this, privately, of course, so that she can talk with, if either of you could help with what she's going through. Because I know she's open to herbs. Because she's been growing herbs in her yard and really getting into nature. I think this kind of thing does bring women back to nature and to what is real in life, because you start questioning everything. And I think she would be open to the apothecary. I think she'd be open to what you do, Morgan, with the fertility. So I definitely will share your information with her. And I had made sure, you guys, I see here we've got the twin Raven Naturals. Is that you,
Yes, that's me.
Okay. And you are Sacred Soul Fertility. Are you sacredsoulfertility.com? Okay. Yes. So anyone who is interested in this, you guys do reach out to these two ladies to discuss this issue, because I think it's important for women to discuss this. And you're right, we do bury it. Era, did you want to say something about this?
I would be really interested to see your daughter's natal chart, because just talking and the way that we're doing, she just feels to me like she has like a water moon. They are so susceptible to a lot more issues from trauma than other types of, signs that are in the moon. And so there's a lot of stuff that could really help her. Just off the bat, a couple of things that you could try just for like the psych part of it would be Star of Bethlehem or cherry plum flower essences. Those work really well on like the spirit and the soul and the mind of the body instead of just like the physical stuff. I feel that might be at least a good spot to start to kind of calm some of that trauma in her mind so that she can move forward with healing her body.
Okay, that was Star of Bethlehem, and the other was
cherry plum.
Cherry plum. I love that. Okay, thank you. That's great advice. And by the way, my daughter, now this should put it into perspective for both of you. She was born with her sun, moon, and Mercury all together in Virgo. Notice I said Mercury, the ruler, right? And they're all within 1 degree of each other in the 5th house of children.
Yep, that right there is explaining it. A lot of it. Yeah, Virgo is not a good sign for fertility.
Oh, especially when the sun, moon, and Mercury are together. And most of her planets all conglomerated in the 6th house. She's got Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius, all in the sixth house. So imagine.
Scorpio in the sixth house leads to female reproductive issues. My Scorpio is not in my sixth house, but I have Scorpio in 5 planets in my chart. And so and Saturn is one of them. So yeah, I was pretty much doomed from the beginning unless I knew it, to be able to try to run it to have endometriosis, because it's just, yeah, but looking at my chart now that I know that, it made it so obvious as to why that was something I struggled with. And if I had known that prior to being diagnosed, I could have taken steps to prevent my body from ever reaching that point. And so it doesn't mean that we can't fix the problem now. It just obviously sometimes takes a little longer because, disease and stuff has set in. And so we need to work longer. But Scorpio in the 6th house is, I'm so sorry. But no, I would love to talk to her.
Of all things. So
yes,
it keeps wanting to regenerate, right? So she keeps getting pregnant. It's crazy. But I can tell you what happened this year. So, we've got Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn in Aquarius is in both her 10th house and her husband's 10th house. They both have Gemini rising. And so, because they're twin souls, right? And so Saturn was opposing both their 4th houses. And of course, he being a man, it was in his 10th house he had to see that. It was devastating. And Saturn, of course, in the 10th house wants to give you the responsibility. So it just keeps giving them trying to make them responsible parents, but it's opposing the 4th house, her 4th house. So she's not getting, you're right. It was a water house. It's opposing a water. It's opposing, she's got Leo there. And
Saturn is a very cold, suppressive force. And so whatever it is across from or conjunct with or anything that it's in, it literally just suppresses that function, and whatever body system is being ruled by, whatever sign is in that opposite house. And so, she's struggling because her Saturn is doing what it's supposed to do, but
so luckily it won't stay there, thank God.
No, but
Saturn is in the 6th house by birth. Like I said, all her planets are basically in the 6th house.
Saturn in the 6th house is like the worst thing for your health, as far as that goes, because it is very suppressive and very cold and very dampening to your body, and it causes so many issues.
That's why they took the baby, because she's got POTS. So she's got a life-threatening disease, and they felt like it was threatening her life. So this has been this is what I'm saying. It's sad. It's hard for me. She's my only daughter. And I feel like as a Capricorn mother with a Virgo daughter, it's so weird, right? But I feel like I've been begging God to keep her alive all this time. She's had health issues her whole life. But amazingly, she's a fighter. And I think that's all that, because it's in the 5th house. Very lucky in that way. But it's been really hard. It's been rough. So and me, by the way, I've got Saturn in the 1st house by birth. So talk about heavy. It's been hard. You guys, you don't understand. It was heavy. Like I was once 500 pounds. I talk about it a lot. And in a wheelchair, couldn't walk, both knees dislocated. So is Saturn in the 1st house. So is Saturn in Aquarius in the 1st house. So it was just amazing. I just wanted to say this to you, because both of you ladies do astrology in your own way. And I recently had a conversation with a gentleman who had said something to the effect that it was almost like, don't hide behind astrology. And I'm thinking, but once you learn something and you know it to be true, how do you make pretend it's not true? Do either of you want to comment on this, since I know you use astrology in your work?
I don't find that it's hiding. I find that it's opening things. Like in my how I use it, medical astrology really is like a microscope right down inside of the body that can pinpoint very accurately exactly where issues are happening, and then ways that you can go ahead and start trying to help the body heal that area. I don't find it like I'm hiding behind anything. I actually find that it's opening doors for me in my practice, in my life, in my kids' lives, to be able to really see what's going on and make the necessary changes that I need to. Myself, my kids, my spouse, my clients. I think that really works well for me in my practice. In fact, when I wasn't using medical astrology, I wasn't having as good of results, in my clients' lives as I am now. Once I started changing that and I started pinpointing things easier, it's like it opened a whole new world to them. And they all have, great transformations. So
It's beautiful. And I always feel like once you learn something, it's impossible to unlearn it. Right? Oh, once
yeah,
you know it.
yeah.
So there was something that Morgan had said that I wanted to go back to. Hold on one second here. Here we go. It was about the becoming a certified Akashic Records practitioner. I know a little bit about the Akash, but not a lot about the Akash. What would you suggest for people who want to know more about their Akashic records and how it affects their lives?
Yeah, work with somebody who is certified in order to open your records. There are many ways. A lot of people associate with the Akashic records with only like past lives, but that's not the only usage for them. In fact, I rarely ever use them that way. Since the inception of your soul, every deed, thought, and action has been recorded there. So they are like the book on you, right? And your life. And as you're talking about these astrology charts, and Erin made the point that it's almost like a microscope, you can go down in and see, well, the Akashic, you can also zoom out in the micro. We can look further back if necessary. So you're not stuck saying, gosh, I'm seeing this. And well, these are just kind of fixed this way. You can step back and look like what happened in your ancestral line, what happened in your lineage, what happened in this lifetime that are causing these things to manifest and show up. So again, it's just a different lens to look at something through. Very, very powerful.
Do you find that when people find what was the cause of the issue, that it does help to heal the issue?
Mm-hmm. So when I'm accessing a client's records, say they want, and you can ask questions in any and all area of your life. You can talk about money patterns, you can look at fertility, all of these things. The information that is presented in the reading is what is available at the moment and ready to be healed or shifted. So it's very key to get a layer at a time. So once people are very aware, imagine we understand a trauma that happened somewhere on the line, and we can start to heal that. And then something else is going to shift, and we can go back in and look and see what's coming up next. And in situations like large traumas, like your daughter, there's going to be several layers. Maybe another client who's struggling with endometriosis, maybe there's only 2 or 3 layers. It wasn't so far back, but it's always available to be healed and to shift their reality.
Mm-hmm. You said you work with herbs as well, right? Or
yeah, I did more in when I was living in the US. I'm a Chinese herbalist. So much like Era, I would use customized formulas. I would use a lot of granules to your constitution, all through the framework of Chinese medicine. And I used all Chinese herbs. I'm sure she mentioned some more that are Western herbs and different things, just as powerful, just not the ones that I was trained in. So yeah, very interesting.
Wow, very interesting. I definitely am going to have my daughter reach out to both of you, because especially you, Morgan, because she is studying to be a Buddhist, and I have a feeling that might resonate with her. But either both of you, I'm going to throw it up to her, leave it up to her.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what a reading for her would bring up.
Yeah,
and find her some sense of peace. Most all of my clients, in fact, I can't think of one of the first questions they ask is, what is my soul's path? What is my soul's purpose? Which is a huge question, right? And so if she's studying to be in Buddhism, she's really searching now.
She's really, her Saturn's in Sagittarius.
Yeah.
So it was, first the education. She's got 3 masters.
Ooh.
And now the religion. But I always feel like Saturn makes you work harder in the area where it is. People don't look at it that way. I do. Because I got it in the first house. I lost 302 pounds.
Yeah.
And you are not going to do that unless you've got something like Saturn that's chasing your ass. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's beyond drive, right? Like there's drive and then there's that.
Saturn's not normal. And I realize unless it kills you, it's going to make you better. It's almost like it's building a diamond, but you were coal. And I definitely feel like I was coal. And it's building something, I don't know, but it's Saturn, and Saturn's in Aquarius right now, retrograding back toward in a conjunction with my own Aquarius. And so I don't think it'll go back to it, but I do feel like I've been being molded by fire this year. It's been tough. Yeah. So anyway, ladies, I am so sorry that I regress to myself because Saturn is in my first house. And so and so is Mercury, by the way. When you said Saturn touches everything, it's on my Mercury. So it always goes back to that. So here's the thing. I'm going to ask both of you the same question, which is, what would you like to say to our listening audience that you have not had a chance to say yet? Or I'm going to start with you because we always do the alphabetical order. What would you like to say to everyone that we haven't covered?
Oh, well, if you have a history that's similar to mine, where you have tried what you feel like is everything and you're not getting the help from the modern medicine system that you feel like you deserve or that it's actually helping, I would love to see you. A lot of my clients have the same kind of journey I did, where I tried everything they offered me, and everything that they offered made things worse instead of better, and ultimately led to me finding this path that I'm on now. And I've really been able to help so many. One of my most recent clients went from being told she would never have a baby, that her PCOS was so advanced it would never happen, to within 6 months of working together, she released 20 pounds of weight. She got pregnant, and she maintained the pregnancy when they told her that she wouldn't. And she has a super happy, healthy 2-month-old baby right now. And it was just so amazing to be like a part of that journey and walk her from point A to point B where she is now. And I would love to do that for anybody else. Medical astrology is just such an amazing tool to be able to help people truly achieve healing. And I would just love to be a part of your journey too.
And I might reach out to you because even as I sit here, my knees are hurting, child. My Saturn in Aquarius.
That's Saturn for you. It rules that. And so does Capricorn.
It's my chart rulers. As I sit here, my knees are like, help me. Help.
Yeah.
But I love them. Yes. And again, her website is twinravennaturals.com. And we will put the link up on YouTube, and wherever you're hearing this, we'll make sure her link is there. Earth, thank you so much for that. And thank you for what you do, because it's definitely needed. And I think I'm going to reach out to you to get that cherry plum and some other things at the Star of Bethlehem, I think you mentioned.
Yes, I would love that. It was nice being here today. I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. I always love meeting everybody. So Morgan, I'm going to ask you the same question. What would you like to talk to or tell our audience that you just haven't had a chance to talk about?
Yeah, I'm with Arab. I'm of the mind frame that regardless of what you've been through, whatever trauma, what your astrology chart says, don't lose hope. There is always a way to help connect you and manifest what it is you desire. Since I work so much with the Akash, there is always a team that we can't see just waiting to love on you and to support you and to make these things a reality. They're here to help you heal, regardless of what a doctor says, regardless if you cannot see a way out. please, please, please do not give up hope. There is always healing available to those who are open to it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Morgan. And again, she's with sacredsoulfertility.com. And definitely reach out to her. You ladies, there's something else I do, and I'm going to do this before we go because I still got time to do it. So one of the things I like to do is to guess what signs my guests are. So you almost told me in a way, because she said she's got 6 planets in Scorpio, but she didn't say she was a Scorpio. So I'm thinking about what she might be. As I look at you, you could literally be anything, but I am thinking Pisces and Taurus. What sign are you?
That's actually my daughter. She is a Taurus sun and a Pisces moon, and she's the exact opposite of me. I am a Scorpio sun, a Scorpio moon, a Leo rising, a Scorpio Saturn, and a Scorpio Mercury, and a Scorpio Uranus.
I love it because, you know, in the background, it's kind of, there is a halo of darkness around me. I don't know. I'm sorry.
It's kind of where I like to live. But no, my daughter was literally born the exact like opposite of me. She's like my opposite to a T, and it's great. The universe definitely knew what they were doing when they gave her to me.
That's hilarious. I love it. You know, this is like the 3rd week in a row I've guessed the children. It's hilarious. I love it. Now, Morgan, let's see what Morgan is. See, look, it's very studious and bright. Gosh, you're another one, could be anything. I'm getting more like a Gemini or Libra out from you. What sign are you?
I'm an Aquarius.
Aquarius. Oh, I was thinking that too, but I didn't want to say it.
With your first gut, you got it.
You have the Aquarius blue in your outfit. There's only certain, see, and look, she's got the Aquarius blue in that. See, I knew it.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Go with your first instinct. It's always right.
I know it. I second guess myself all the time. I need to go with my first instinct. I love that. Very studious Aquarius, though. Aquariuses are the most brilliant sign. They don't get enough credit for that. I tell people all the time, they are brilliant, the Mavericks. Yes. Yeah.
They are.
Yes, they are, right? Yeah. I'm not just saying that because I have Aquarius rising, but I am saying that because they really are geniuses. Also, there's the natural astrologers of the zodiac. A lot of people don't know that either.
Yes.
It's like inbred.
They pick it up so much easier than the rest of us. Yeah. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing. I will say this one last thing because I noticed we have a few minutes. With the spiritual awakening that's been occurring since, like you said, 2019, when you got in your van, you know, I don't know if you guys were spiritual before this explosion happened. Tell me a little bit, if you guys don't mind sharing about your spiritual awakening.
Mine came in like 2011, 2012 when I became pregnant and then gave birth to my youngest daughter. I had a really rough pregnancy. My body kept trying to terminate the pregnancy. So I was on and off bed rest a lot, more on than off. And when I did finally give birth, I actually coded and I died, and I had like an actual like death experience, and they brought me back. And then 2 weeks later, she almost died. And I brought her back while I was waiting for the EMS to arrive. And so it was just a really rough start to our lives. And I realized that the faith that I had been raised in wasn't doing anything for me during this whole time. I felt super alone. I didn't feel like I had that faith to fall back on. I cried out to the deity that I had been raised with, and like it was literally nothing. I felt nothing back from it. And when my daughter almost died and then I saved her, I was like, no, I don't, that deity is not mine. And I can't relate to that anymore. That religion I grew up in is just not what is working for me. So I started really looking, and that's when I wound up down the path of green witchcraft and have been doing that basically ever since. And then I married a guy who's a heathen, which is like Norse pagan beliefs. So we've kind of meshed those two things together and found a new spiritual path together. And I'm telling you, he's like truly my soulmate. I know that our souls knew each other in a past time, and that we finally found each other again in this time because of just the amazing connection that we have. We literally finished sentences of each
That's
other. And
amazing.
yeah, and so we've been on this new journey, and then coming here where we live now, where it's like you can just feel this amazing vibe coming out of the earth. Like I can't even tell you like what the energy feels like here. Like you just have to come and feel it for yourself. And it's just, yeah, that's the path that spoke to me and means the most to me. And nature is my thing now. And that, yeah, that hard time in my life just really awoke something inside of me.
I have a question. It's private or personal. Was the religion you were in, was it Jehovah's Witness?
No, I was raised as an independent fundamental Baptist.
You said the word heathen, and I was studying to be a Jehovah's Witness, and when I left, that's the word they used for me.
Yeah, heathen with a capital H is actually a religion. So that's what my husband practices. But yes, I was told that by marrying a heathen, I was going to hell by my family, who no longer speaks to me because I did choose my husband over them. So
wow, so it's an actual religion too.
Yes.
Heathen. Wow.
Yes.
But it is a name, like in the context that it was used for you, if you are to exit your religion.
Yes, that too.
That's the term for somebody who chooses to leave their religion.
Yeah,
So.
I was called a heathen, and then they all shunned me. I was shunned. Yeah, and then I became a Mormon of all things after that. I became a Mormon. Oh, that's crazy. So they were more accepting. I don't know. I mean, they just were. People don't believe it, but it's true. They never met.
We all have our own path, right?
We all have our own path.
Yeah.
So Morgan, I'm going to ask you the same question about your spiritual week. Tell us about that.
Yeah, mine came back. I've always been rather spiritual, but I was in my very early 20s. And I was diagnosed with a really radical episode of multiple sclerosis. I was 22, 23, and they're like, yeah, you'll probably never work again. This is terrible. By the time you're, by 30, you won't walk and all of these things. And none of it resonated with me. Like any deity. I had grown up with, I was baptized Catholic and had been to Catholic school and Christian, all these things. I just didn't find the support. But it was really where I started to harness the understanding of how I could control creating my own world. I got into acupuncture. I saw an acupuncturist. I started taking herbs. I really started to see things shift. I started picking up various spiritual practices, which really helped me hone my intuition and trust that voice inside of me, and was able to heal outside of any symptoms in Western medicine, shifted my career. And then when everything was hunky-dory, I decided to come on over here to Portugal and spend some time working. Well, I made the choice to give birth to my children here. And as things unraveled, I realized by choosing that, I'm not allowed to leave the country. My boys are nationals here. Their father says, no, you can't take them home. So thank goodness for my spiritual toolkit, because that's what I leaned in and have just really manifested a beautiful life in the face of adversity. And I think anybody going through any sort of adversity, that's their spiritual awakening. And if they choose to lean into it, will be really, really rewarded from that.
Wow, that's beautiful, by the way. And I've always dreamed of going to Portugal. It just always looks so beautiful. Down at the tip there, and just gorgeous. Aren't you guys close to Morocco as well?
It's not far.
Not far, right?
No, it's if you drive down from where I'm at to Spain, it's a quick ferry ride over. You could do it in a day. It's a quick flight. Yeah. Morocco's beautiful, by the way. The energy there is stunning.
I only know about that because my aunt went on the tour between Spain, Portugal, and I think she
Yeah.
went to Madrid, and then she went down to Morocco. And I'm like, how can anything be that gorgeous? Like that whole area is just gorgeous.
Yeah, the southern part of Portugal is kind of like the Hawaii of Portugal, but like buyer beware, it's still the Atlantic, not the Mediterranean. The water is not as warm as people think, but it's still very beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And the houses, just the way they've done all of the architecture, it's beautiful. Beautiful.
It is, and they're very, very loving and kind people. Yeah, it's of all the places that I'm required to live, this like, okay, yeah, thanks for that one. Like it's really beautiful here.
So I'm going to ask both of you ladies a personal question because I've been personal the whole time. Why stop now? So I have been dealing with something that I think I'm at the tail end of, which is my problem is money. Now you're a green witch and you both are astrologers. I'm gonna tell you guys, as you know, as I mentioned, I'm a Capricorn with my Saturn in Aquarius, and although it's in my first house, it's in my solar second, right? But I have my Jupiter in Pisces in my natal second house. And it opposes my Uranus and Pluto in the 8th house. So Jupiter opposes Pluto. Jupiter opposes Uranus, but they're both money houses, right? So one says I would have inheritances, like Pluto in the 8th house means you're supposed to inherit all this money and get rich. And Jupiter in the second house, it says you're supposed to get all this money and get rich, but I ain't got rich on nothing. I just keep working with all the Saturn. And I'm thinking there must be some type of spiritual block or something. Like, where is all this wealth? What do you guys think? Do you think it has anything to do with the Saturn or?
From a totally different perspective, I just keep hearing, like, look at, there's like two money patterns that you have come in with, and they're just sort of limiting, regardless what your houses are saying. And it's your time to rewrite your money story. So one thing that you can do is like, think of all the things just that come up off the top of your head. For example, money doesn't grow on trees. I can't afford that. Make your list.
Yeah.
Then on the side of it, put your beliefs, right? Like, oh, that makes me.
I can't believe you're saying this.
That makes me feel scared. That makes me feel, put in your feelings and really let them feel it, really let it percolate. And then take out your big stamp and void it. Just write void all over it. And then go and call in your new money story. What feelings do you want to feel around money? What stories do you want to have around money?
I just did this. When you said calling your new money story, I almost screamed. I just did this yesterday. I swear. And
yes, that's what I was hearing. I was hearing it's like money stories.
Yes, I can't believe that came out of your mouth when it was the first words out of your mouth. Change your money story. I'm like, what? I wrote down on this side the new image. See, it says new image, right?
Yeah.
And then on the other, and on the other side, I burnt the other side because it said to burn the other side. Yeah,
totally. Void it out. Get rid of it.
I can't
believe it. So
incredible. That's incredible. You actually said that. Love that. That's amazing. Now I'm freaked out. Did you have something you wanted to suggest? What do you suggest?
I was literally going to say the same thing as Morgan, because that's the first thing that came to my mind as soon as you said it. I was like, she needs a new money story. Like, literally, that's exactly what I was going to say. So apparently the spirit is talking to us and giving you the advice that you need. So
it's so funny because not only did I write it, I took this story and I posted it in Facebook groups. Like, I literally took it and I thought, if I put it out there and make it real, then it's going to be more real. So the more eyes that see it and believe that's me. And it says something like, I make $50,000 a month or something. I have this gorgeous house on the beach. I was all this stuff. And I thought, what? That's amazing. You guys said that. I can't believe it. Freaked out now. Oh my gosh. On that, we're going to end. We're gonna...
Well, you know you're on the right track. It's confirmation. It's reassurance. The
That's
universe
where you
hears
get-
you.
And what happens when you get 3 astrologers? I'm a white witch. We got a green witch, a white witch, and a cosmic person. Like, it's like when you get some spiritual people together, we just kind of get on the same mind length or whatever. It's crazy.
Yes.
Crazy.
Mhm.
Well, you ladies, it's been so much fun. I have had so much fun talking to you and all the personal advice. Thank you. Thank you for all the personal advice. And I'm going to share your information. And I'm going to give you guys my, let me put it here before we go. And I'm going to put the music on too. I'm going to put down my Facebook group here for you girls, so you guys can join my Facebook group. We'd love to have you guys come join me. Let's see, groups, astrology, look inside. And I don't know if you have your Facebook groups or pages, but do share those with me too, okay?
Mhm.
And everyone who's been listening, it's been a pleasure. This has been Adrienne, Capricorntigress of Astrology, a look inside. Been here with Morgan from Sacred Soul Fertility and from, is that Twin? Let me say it one more time. TwinRavenNaturals.com. Okay. Much love, much light, many blessings to everybody. I put this here. Here's my favorite. I just thought of something, you girls. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. How do I forget this? So I wanted to officially invite both of you ladies to join us at our Spiritual Speaker Summit, which we're having at the end of the month. I'll send you out both information on it. This recording is going to appear. Say hi to the people out there. And if you'd like to have your own individual speaking or talk, I'm going to send you out a link so you guys can participate in that. I almost forgot to tell you guys that. So,
Wonderful.
okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.